Good evening to all the viewers. And today is a day of great excitement. Today is a day to fly. So, today is the sixth day of Navratri. Wishing each of you a very, very happy Navratri. And as promised, and as said, that in one day of this Navratri, I'm going to make you fly. So, today is the day. We are with Captain Sunita Narula. Thank you so much, Captain, for joining us. And I think so, her introduction, what she does, and how she got into it. If it comes from herself, the Durga herself, then I think so. It would be more exciting. So, Captain, we begin with your journey of how you got into this career, what triggered you for this career, and how you began with all the things required for this great journey.
Good evening, everyone. Wish all of you happy Navaratri. And thank you, Mura, for giving me an opportunity to share my journey with your viewers. So, what I do, I'll just let you know a little bit about my profession. So, my name is Captain Sunita Narula. I'm a pilot with Air India and I fly Boeing 777, which is the most powerful and the biggest twin engine aircraft in the world today. Just to give it a perspective, the weight of this aircraft at takeoff time is 351 tons, which is equivalent to 234 mid sized cars. Okay, and I do ultra long haul flights, which is from India to USA and to Canada. And these are non stop flights, which I do. So you asked me how I got into this. So normally people ask me that was it your dream from the beginning? You always wanted to become a pilot, but the answer to that question is no. I didn't even know that there is any profession called pilot. Forget about lady pilots, that comes later. I had no clue about that because in my family nobody is in aviation. It just happened that I belong to a very humble family, a village like setup, and I used to drive a scooter at that time, and I was the only one in that area who could drive a scooter. And one day I was doing yoga and I met my uncle and I borrowed his car, and with him only I just moved around maybe 50 meters or so. But when I came back home, I told my mother, आज मैंने गाड़ी चलाई, पहले मैंने स्कूटर चलाया. So my mother told me कि अभी इसके बाद तुमको क्या करना है. So I had no clue about aviation, but I told her, like lunchtime we were sitting, I still remember, कि ये जो ऊपर येलो कलर के ग्लाइडर्स घूमते हैं मुझे वो सीखना है, because I still have 2 months time before I continue for my next studies because I had finished my final exams. And that was the time my mother told me, and we both went, we found out, and I started flying. And believe me, I was not very sure about that profession. I knew very clearly that I don't want to do 9 to 5 job. And it was very clear I want to do something different, but it will be a pilot's job I had never thought of. So this is how my journey started. And after doing private pilot lessons, because I was given scholarship by government of Haryana, so it was free flying for me. So after PPL, I stopped going to the club because I wanted to prepare for higher studies. And that was the time my instructor came home and he told my parents, why Sunita is not coming for flying. So my parents said, no, 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 she just wants to do PPL and she wants to take up her studies because we are not sure about getting a job in aviation. So that was the time he told my parents that you apply for Indira Gandhi Rashtriya Udan Academy, IGRUA. And at that time, there was a government policy to have direct placements from that place. So my parents were somehow convinced, okay, at least job guarantee will be there. So I applied only once in IGRUA. I got through, and then I did my CPL from IGRUA. So that is how I became a pilot.
Okay, so that's really exciting. I mean, from the trigger of getting onto a scooter, then onto a car, and then flying. So that wheel journey was really, I mean, really exciting. I mean, to hear out. So So all these steps which you took, okay, for getting into the aviation industry, was there? I mean, was there some strong guidance for you? Because what happens nowadays is there are many women who are aspiring for different kind of careers, especially in the aviation industry. But as you rightly said, that even you didn't have anybody from the aviation industry in the family. So, what is that one should look for when somebody is getting into such challenging and in today's world a very, very expensive career?
So, as I told you, I didn't have anybody in aviation, but once, in fact, I almost thought of leaving flying because I was thinking I'm a misfit there because I was the one who is wearing a suit and canvas shoes and wearing a chunni on the side and going for flying, while other people there were for metros. They were very well dressed. I was an odd one out, and I didn't know how to speak in English because I was studying in a Hindi medium school throughout. I didn't know how to communicate, and I was so stressed out. In fact, I thought of not continuing because of these reasons. But that was the time I met one, I think God sent her. She's been my mentor, Captain Urmila Yadav. So I met her and I knew her from yoga earlier because she also was into yoga. I was also into yoga. So I just asked her, I said, Didi, आप यहाँ क्या कर रहे हो? So she looked at me and she said, Sunita, तू यहाँ क्या कर रही है? So this is how we met. And I was thinking I will not continue in this profession because I don't know how to go about it. And it just happened. And then she took me under her wings. And then she kept guiding me. She was senior. And today she's flying with Alliance Air and I'm flying with Air India. So that is what I would like to see, that you have to have a mentor. Without that, it is not possible. It doesn't have to be a lady, it can be a lady, it can be a man, but the person who has in depth knowledge about that profession. Because then only you will be able to navigate through your challenges uh, by taking help, by taking guidance. So it is, yes, it is very important to have somebody, mentor, who will be able to help you out in this profession.
Yeah. So yeah, that's true for many professions where if you get a able guidance, if you get a experienced mentor with you, then things become a little easy to get into it. But nevertheless, we know that now once you were into it, I'm talking about the early days, and as you rightly said, a woman in the so-called male industry, what were the basic challenges as a women pilot you had to face when you entered the professional path?
See, challenges are always there. If you want to do something different, you will have to face the challenges, and you should take those challenges as an opportunity. I always say that. So, as I told you initially, that I was a misfit. All other girls and everybody was very smartly dressed. I didn't know how to dress up. I didn't know how to speak in English. When I went to IGRUA, Indira Gandhi Rashtriya Udan Academy, and thanks to my instructor who guided me, when I went there, I was from a village kind background, and next to me on the bench were sitting people from Doom School, DPS, the best schools in the country. So handling that was not very easy. Yes, we were very few ladies as compared to men, but honestly, I did not feel any problem because of that in IGRUA. So then after that, the problem started after that when I came back from IGRUA. And when there was some change in the policy, and the promise was not kept that we will get a placement there after IGRUA. So when I came back, I didn't have a job, and there was no promise, nothing. So now when I came back, that was the time the biggest challenges started, because of, like, a small town environment. So everybody was telling my parents कि बेटी के ऊपर इतना खर्चा क्यों किया, उसकी शादी हो जाएगी तो सारा पैसा लड़की के यहाँ जाएगा, आपको अपने लड़के को बनाना चाहिए था, कम से कम शादी के बाद पैसा तो आपके घर में आता. देन फ्यू पीपल वर सीइंग, अरे इतना पैसा लगा दिया, उतने में तो इसकी शादी हो जाती. देयर वर फ्यू पीपल हु वर टेलिंग मी कि जब ये गई थी, दैट टाइम शी सेड शी विल गेट ए जॉब, Now she doesn't have a job, so it means she must have failed in the training. So the handling all these things were really, really the most difficult part in my life. That time was very, very difficult. So that was the time I decided that I have to get out of this negativity somehow. Because I was very confident about myself. I had done very well in Igrua. I said I had to get out. So there, that time there was no internet, nothing, you know. I'm talking about 1991, more than 30 years back. So there was nothing. There was only employment news. I looked at the news. I filled up all the forms. I applied for SSB in Indian Air Force. I applied in SSC. I cleared this police exam. Then I cleared bank exam. I also cleared cabin crew exams in Air India. So I cleared all these exams and now had to choose one. So I chose Indian Air Force because I thought it is closer to flying. So I left my city just to be out and be with positive people. And then I joined Indian Air Force. There also the girls were less. And after that, I joined Air India. And challengings were never ending. When I joined Air India, the first day they told us submit your passport. I didn't have a passport. I didn't even know what is a passport. Believe me, I did not know. And I was sitting among people who were having aviation background, and they must have got their passport done when they were not even 2 years old. And here I am there without a passport. Then there was no provision for lady pilots for hostel, because before me I'm the second lady in erstwhile Air India. The first lady is from Bombay, and her dad is also in aviation industry, a pilot with an airline. So obviously she didn't need the hostel. I was the first one. I needed a hostel, and there was no hostel for ladies. So I was staying in a pilot's hostel where there were more than 30 men, and I was the only lady. I know today it is not a big deal, but think about more than 30 years back, 1994, staying all alone among 30 boys in a hostel. It was also a challenge in itself. When I came for my training and I saw there was no ladies' toilet in the office where I was doing my training, because maybe they had not catered for that. And then when I was reading my books, and the first line in the Airbus manual was written, it is a two-man cockpit. So that was the first line. So I think it says it all. And initially, yes, there were apprehensions among pilots, and I was not getting same kind of flying handling as my male colleagues were getting. But when I came for command, I had a 3 months old daughter in my hands, and I was very scared because 2 years I had not seen the aircraft, because during maternity we cannot fly. The day we become, we tell them that we are pregnant, we cannot fly, and it continues till the time the child is 3 months old. So when I went back and I was very scared. So I told my instructor, and he told me कि the more difficult work you have already done. To become a mother is more difficult than to get a command. तो अब तुम क्यों डर रही हो? So that is what I needed at that time. And my husband's support, he was very supportive. I said, I will do it later. I don't want to do it now. He said, no, you try it out. Maximum क्या हो जाएगा? Fail हो जाओगे ना? What a big deal. At least in future, you will not have this feeling कि I wish I had tried at that time and maybe I would have cleared. So at least try it out. So I tried and I had no problem. By God's grace, everything went well. And I must tell you that I always have been surrounded by wonderful people around you who have helped me in every stage and given me confidence. So this is how my journey started. And for a lady, it was difficult. And now I'll tell you what are the other challenges which we are facing on day-to-day basis. Yes, for a lady, they may be little more, but there are two types of challenges I can tell you. One is to keep my license current, and the other is flying challenges. In flying, we have to stay awake at odd hours. See, when you see a lady pilot or a pilot at the airport, you feel very nice. Wow, what a career! So they are so happy, they are so good. But you don't know how much hard work has gone to reach where we have reached. So we have to be awake at odd times. Not only being awake, that is still okay, but being alert at odd times. That is very, very difficult. That is very challenging. Then staying away from home for 8 days, 10 days at a stretch is not easy. More is not easy. More so for a lady when you have elderly parents, you have small children at home. It is a big challenge. So I remember teaching my children on the phone. Fortunately, now all these facilities are there. When I started flying, there was no internet, nothing. So if I'm out for 10 days, I'm completely out of my family, away for 10 days. So this was the challenge. This is the challenge which I'm facing even now. And then jet lag, because once I come back home after a long flight, I'm not getting sleep. Everybody is sleeping at home. I'm going from one room to the other, but I'm not getting sleep. When I go abroad, I want to talk to my family. I want to ask my daughter, how was your exam? I can't call because it is 3 o'clock night in India and it is 3 o'clock afternoon there. So all this time difference, jet lag, fatigue, all these things are there which are related, and then not getting leave. Sometimes we do get leave. I'm not saying we never get leave, but sometimes due to exigencies of flights, we do not get leave. So we don't have any Diwali, Dashera, we don't have Saturday, Sundays. Sometimes we don't even get leave for very important functions in the family. So that is a very big challenge in itself. And second thing, I told you to keep my license current. So to keep my license current, I have to be physically and mentally healthy because we do have medicals every now and then. To keep myself physically healthy, I'll have to go, whether irrespective of how tired I am, I have to go either to the gym or yoga, meditation. Walking in the sun is very important to beat jet lag. So all these things we have to do whether we are in the mood or not. We have to do that. And then food wise, I just can't eat anything, whatever is served to me. I have to be very careful, my portions, because I have to be fit. I cannot eat, I won't eat any oily stuff, I won't have sugar. Means I'm not saying it is a must, but everybody has their own ways of keeping themselves fit, and this is working for me. So that is another challenge. And one very important challenge which most of the people don't know is that we have to continuously keep learning. In fact, my children come and tell me, Mama, आपके एग्जाम तो खत्म ही नहीं होते. हमारे एग्जाम तो फिर भी खत्म होते हैं, आपके एग्जाम ही खत्म नहीं होते. Because it's a continuous studies, continuous exams, continuous ground refreshers, online training, this training, that training. So it's a continuous studies. So these are the challenges which we have to face.
So that was quite exhaustive. I mean, you have also given very nice tips to the young aspirants, especially the women, girls who want to get into this industry. It is not about just the knowledge, the skills, but also how important it is to keep the continuity in the physical and mental fitness, which is so important if you want to continue the profession. And I think so, it is a very positive thing because in India, once a woman gets married, she starts neglecting her health, her emotional well-being. So I think so. This is the only profession which demands that till the end, and she can really take good care of her health. So a very positive point over here. Captain, you mentioned in between that you had to, I mean, in between you joined the Indian forces. So, how was your experience over there? I mean, I will not talk about the challenges over there, but overall, how was the experience when you had joined Indian forces?
It was, I have always found everywhere I get wonderful experiences. I feel good people I meet, I made lots of friends. I joined Indian Air Force in 1994. In fact, I think more because it was the initial stage. I'm talking about 94, so more, around 30 years back. So they were not, they had just started taking women in the Indian Air Force, and I was in the fourth batch. So this first of all, I'll say the selection procedure was very nice. It was not like SSB, Services Selection Board. 5 days we had to be in Dehradun and every day, and the kind of psychology test I gave in Indian Air Force, I think I've not done in any of the competitive exams. We had to speak about extempore speech. You have to take a piece of paper and talk about that, all that kind of experiences. And then we had to show physical fitness. Here I would like to tell you that there was obstacles and I had to clear all those. There were 10 obstacles and we were given 2 minutes time. And I have been into yoga and all. I have been into fitness and all. So doing all those things was not difficult. I finished everything. 9 things I finished, but there was a tire which was hanging with the rope, and I had to go from one side to the other side, and it was quite high. And that was the only thing I could not do. So I did it, tried my best, but it was moving and it was very difficult to get into that. So I left it and I did all the 9 obstacles again because I still had time. Again, I went and I could not do it, and that 2 minutes were over. After that, everything was over, but somehow I felt this is, and not even a single girl could do that. And we were not allowed to see. The people who finished, they will go to the other room. But before me, whosoever tried could not do it. So finally, once selection was over, everything was over, I said, no, I have to try. I tried, I ended up doing that. And that time, all the girls were there, even our instructors were there, although it will not be counted. But it was a very good thing for me. Okay, I could do it, which I couldn't do earlier. But otherwise, in Indian Air Force, it was a very, very disciplined. We had to get up in early morning. We had to do patti parade. We had to, do so many things. I had to take cycle on my head and I had to run maybe 10 times on this thing, and all kinds. Anything we make mistake, they were very very big. Punishments which were given. Basically, they were trying to make us physically and mentally strong, so that we can take our life at our own terms and conditions. But yes, I my main aim was to come into civil aviation. So whenever I got an opportunity, I just left and joined Air India. And now all of my friends in Indian Air Force, they are group captains, and we do meet once or twice every year. And I learn from them, they learn from me. So it has been a good social circle.
So I'm sure that your experience with the forces have helped you, establish a very special place when you came into civil aviation, because the discipline maybe which you carried from there must be like a way too far off from the regular things which happen in the civil industry. So that's nice. One last thing which I would like to ask you is that. Any of our experience, because nowadays we watch a lot of OTT platform which are sharing stories of women air pilots, and they are sharing stories of women into forces. So any kind of experience which was on job, like when you were flying or something like that, and you had to, I'm talking about the decision making which happens on the job, when you are on an assignment. It is very easy to take such decisions when you're on the land, when you're in your corporate life or anything like that. But when you're flying, when you're so many thousand feet away from the land, what happens and how does the decision making takes place for you when such emergency situation arrives?
So I think I had not talked about this challenge, and good you have taken up that challenge and you have told me yes, decision making is also a very big challenge of my profession. We do have to take decision making at every step. It is not that the emergencies tell you before coming, it doesn't happen. We do have simulated trainings where we are trained to take. In fact, I am a type rated instructor. I train other pilots to handle these difficulties also. Even after my interview today at night time, we are going for my simulator training today also. So in the simulator, we are taught how to handle fire, failures, engine failure, hydraulic failure, electrical failure, all these failures, whatever happen. But irrespective of whatever is taught to you, sometimes the things do not happen in a very planned way. They just come up, and sometimes there is no checklist for those things. It happened with me. I was flying from Bombay to Calicut. It was on a Airbus 310. I was flying, and as I took off, all my instruments failed. Where I have, and it was monsoon, peak of monsoon. All the instruments failed, and I really don't know. Now, all this training which was given to me was about this failure, that failure, but it didn't cater for everything going off. So I just, there was only standby instruments which were working. Otherwise, my pilot PFD, ND people who are in aviation, they will understand. PFD failure, ND failure, nothing. I had just had my standby instruments which were very, very difficult to follow, and they are not very accurate also. So anyway, I just, as trained, I said, okay, my side instruments failure, going on standby, check your side instruments. And the worst thing was when my first officer said my side instruments also failed. Now we were never trained for this situation. We were trained, okay, you will say that and you will hand over controls to the first officer, the person who has the. But both the size instruments failed, and it was very difficult. And then I continued, and then I decided, okay, we'll come back and land because it is not possible to continue like this. At around 5,000 feet, I told my first officer, inform ATC, we are coming back. But then I said, wait for some time because the moment I took this decision, my instruments came back. So I said, okay, my instruments have come back. Let me just wait for some time, then we will inform. So this kept happening throughout, and we were really, and when I was at 30,000 feet, again the instruments failed. So it was a very, very challenging flight. And when I landed, you won't believe, my legs were shaking. I thought maybe this is my last flight. I may never be able to land. And the weather was so bad, I could not see anything out. My instruments are not working. It was a very, very challenging flight. But we landed somehow and I told the engineer, I said, I'm not letting any other pilot to take this aircraft unless you clear it. Finally, it was found because in July, if you remember, I think 2014 or whatever, there were floods in Bombay, and I was flying immediately after that, and the water had seeped into avionic bay, and it was just seeping in one side, the other side, and it was failing all the instruments. Anyway, that was and it is a regular thing for me that something or the other keeps happening. Once in Chennai also, there was one aircraft which skidded from Bombay runway, and I wanted to take off. It was nothing to do with technical, but the passengers were telling me, "How can you keep us captivated on the aircraft? We want to go out. Will do case against you. We will do this. We will do that." So people do make these kinds of statements where you have to take a decision. Sometimes, then I made an announcement at that time which worked the best. I said, I have a 9-month-old daughter sitting in Bombay. I am in as much hurry to go to Bombay as you are. As a mother, I'm telling you this. I would not like to delay, but unless the runway opens, I cannot go from here to Bombay. So that statement somehow worked, and after that, all the passengers were very peaceful. So and not only that, once I was landing in Bombay, I was about to land and I could not see the runway because of heavy rain. Within fraction of a second, I had to take a decision to go around. And then, now ATC was telling me, no, you come back and land because now weather is clear. I had enough fuel. I told them, no, let the things become better. I don't want to do the same thing again. So these are the decision makings you have to do. And I took little time and came back when the weather was okay and did a good landing. So basically, these decisions are there on every second flight.
So I really like that. I mean, I was so scared that I have to interview you. But when you said that, we are so much by heart, and when once a mother is always a mother. So very strategically, when you said that, that the announcement which you made was so, I mean, it could touch anybody's heart, that every woman who is flying, she also has a family at home. And when the consumers, when the passengers make these kind of allegations and all that, sometimes they don't understand that, as you very much rightly said in the beginning, that, oh, you are a pilot, and you're a lady pilot, so there is a wow factor, but they don't understand what has gone behind that wow. And she also is, at the end of the day, a mother, a woman, a wife, a daughter, who has to take care of so many things around. So that was really nice. Now, one last thing which we would like to tell the audience is, what would you like to tell the parents today, if their daughter comes up and says to them, she has to get into the aviation industry?
Okay, specific to aviation industry. Okay, the first thing I'll say that believe in your child. First of all, you have to give the kind of environment in the family where children can come and tell you about your passion. They should have that kind of freedom that they come and tell you, Mom, Dad, I want to become a pilot. So that environment you have to give. Believe in your child. And second thing, once she comes and tells you, okay, I want to become a pilot, as parents, you have to educate yourself. See, at my time, there was nothing, but now the internet is available. You have got so much of information. The parents are not more than 40s and 50s in their life, and it is not a big deal to get this information. So you search and find out what is aviation industry, because parents may not be knowing about this. What are the challenges? What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? Where your daughter wants to go? What is there? What is this industry like? And what is the future of this industry? Then try to find out what are the schools which teach, like, which is where you get your training, flying training, aviation schools, what all are there, where all they are, what are the scholarships facility available for ladies, in case the girl child wants to do aviation, and then what are the associations which are related with women pilots, like IWPA, Indian Women Pilots Association, things like that. So they have to do the search and educate themselves about the aviation, which then only they'll be able to guide their child. Third thing is, now the education, they know what it is about. As you mentioned that it is an expensive course. I was very lucky that I got 75% scholarship from Prime Minister's Fund, and my PPL was also free because of government of Haryana. But nowadays, all those facilities, they are there, but the percentage of that has become very less. At my time, I spent only 25,000 rupees for the CPL, but now it is a big amount. So now the parents will have to sit down and plan their finances, how much savings they have, how much loan they can take, how much their daughter will be able to take scholarships. So they will have to do this financial planning. Once the financial planning has already been done, now the best and most important thing is to be emotionally with your child. Be her emotional support. When I say emotional support, means when there are successes, you celebrate with her. When there are setbacks, you be her support. And here I will say it's very important to have resilience in your child from the childhood. Resilience is how to learn how to bounce back. And for that, it is very important to have extracurricular activities and sports. Your daughter may be very intelligent, she may not have failed any exam in her career, in her school and college, but there is no sports person who has won all the matches all the times. In fact, sportsmanship teaches you how to face the failures and bounce back. So it's very important that your child, from the childhood only, make her do extracurricular activities, so that she becomes resilient. And then, uh, what else is required for this profession is you have to be very disciplined. So it's better when the child is small, then only you instill discipline and independence. Let them take a decision. They will make a wrong decision. They are children. When it is not very significant, let them make a mistake, but let them be responsible for their decision. And that is how they will become independent. And I think these are the most important things as parents. And one last thing I'll say, don't force your thought processes on them, because this generation is not going to take it. You can guide them and see them grow, talk to them, discuss things with them, but you cannot force your thought processes on them. So be careful about that and believe in your child. She will shine definitely, whatever field she takes.
Thank you so much, Captain. And I personally want to know one thing. So, what are your flying hours per week? So, how many hours are you detached from your family today?
So I'm a type-rated instructor in Air India. So I'm the only lady type-rated instructor on Boeing 777. So there are steps. First, you become a commander, then you become line training captain, then you become TRI, and then you become DE, which is examiner. So I am one step before examiner, which is type rated instructor. Today, I'm going to train pilots for their refresher. I'm going for 6 hours session. No, total 5 hour session. 1 hour will be my briefing and 1 hour will be debriefing. So 5 plus 2, 7 hours I'm going to be out of my home today. But that is not a big deal. Major thing is after that, after 2 days, I'm going to San Francisco and I'm going to be out from home for 7 days. So it is a mix and match. Sometimes we go for 10 days also. So today, yes, this is the time duration and it keeps changing depending upon flights. And there is nothing I can tell you in 1 week or in 1 month. It's a very, very dynamic field. It keeps changing. One day I'll have a different thing, second day I'll have a different thing. So it keeps changing. So today, yes, 7 hours plus 2 hours going coming, so 9 hours, which is not a big deal. And it is at night. The session is at night. And sometimes I come back at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock at night after completing my sessions.
Thank you so much, Captain, for joining us today in your such a busy schedule. You removed this 30 minutes for us, and that was really, really precious for us. And I'm sure the viewers who are watching us and are going to take really a good inspiration, as well as the things which you instructed just now were really valuable. I mean, these are the advices which have to come in when somebody needs to take up these kind of careers. So we again wish you a very happy Navaratri to you and your family. And we wish you all the best for all your future endeavors. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was lovely talking with you. And I wish someone gets motivated and thinks of taking courses or wearing uniform. Believe me, there is no profession like this. I have the best view of the office. My cockpit is my office, and I have the best view. I see live volcanoes. I see northern lights. I see landscapes. I see big cities, top view of the big cities. Sometimes I feel I'm so lucky that Air India is sending me to different places for sightseeing. The only thing is I have to take few passengers with me. So don't only think about the negative things. It is one of the best professions, and I would like more and more girls to come into this. And thank you once again for letting me share my story with your viewers. And thank you and happy Navratris to all of you again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good day, Captain. Thank you.
Thank